Hello, and as promised, I now have a book review for you on the Curse Workers trilogy by Holly Black. Overall, it was super good. It took a while for me to really get into it, but once it did, the third book was my favorite, and I'll get into that later when I'll have a little spoilery section. The third book was my favorite, and I did it all in one sitting and didn't even realize the time that was going by. And I love books like that. It's so great. So this is my first Holly Black series, and I highly recommend it. I don't really know what else to say about this series without giving it away. So if you read it and you want to stay tuned or you want to be spoiled, I'm about to talk about all three books individually. So it's your time to leave. Have you left? Yes? Okay. So in the first book, as I said, it was just kind of hard and slow to begin with, and I was like, I'm not so sure I'm gonna like this series. First of all, it kind of took me aback. There's not a lot of YA books out there that are from a guy's point of view, so it was kind of like refreshing, but at the same time, I was just like, it took me a while to stop reading it with a girl's voice and put in a guy's voice for it. I love the fact that Holly Black didn't need to do a lot of world building since it kind of takes place in today's time, modern time. But it required building in the fact of talking about all the different curses and all the different workers that you could be, as well as building up the dimensions of Castle's family. And I thought that was really important because it really set the ground for all the rest of the books, and you didn't really need to be refreshed each book about the different people. It was, here they are, she set up it great, so that way the rest of the three books could just be fantastic. So once I got into the book, it wasn't hard, at least for me, to figure out that someone was memory working him. At least I had a suspicion. um I knew it had to be someone close to him. I never would have guessed Baron, though. I was leaning more towards Bill for some reason. I don't know, maybe he just seems more evil in a way versus Baron was just kind of like, he's kind of relaxed. Um, so I wasn't too surprised, but at the same time, the ending of the first book with Lila, and she's been cursed by Castle's mother to love him, and it was just like one of those endings to where it wraps up the first book perfectly, but you can't wait to get your hands on the second book. So I immediately stopped that book, picked up the second one, and I started reading. And it was just so much easier to then go into the second and third books. And again, as I said, there wasn't a lot of world building. So again, with the main plot, Phil's been murdered, and so now it's like a murder mystery thing, and he starts working with the uh, feds. Not really working with the feds, but um, he's still trying to figure out who killed his brother. And my first thought would be Phil's wife that left him, and it ends up being that, but at the same time, like, through Castle's mind and his thinking, it made me doubt myself. Maybe it was his mother. Oh my god, it was his mother. No, it's not. It's his ex-wife. And I like the fact that Castle kind of covered for her, and it was just really nice to see that he wasn't going to throw her under the bus. And this was kind of the start of Castle wanting to become a better person. And I really liked that struggle that he goes through in the whole series. Again, the ending broke my heart with Lila, and it was just one of those things where you're like, ugh, just have them be happy together. Um, but then the third book was, in my opinion, the best one, and I read it down in one sitting, and I completely forgot about the time, and it was so good. It was more complex and complicated than the other two books, in my opinion. I never saw what was coming until Castle has that realization that the FBI or whoever he's working with, the police force, is gonna screw him over. And I love the fact that, like, you don't know exactly what Castle's plan is, so you're along for the journey, and then at the same time you're like, oh my god, like, what are you doing? In the end, though, is it bad that I feel bad for Baron? I kind of wanted him to be happy with Danica, and I kind of wish that Castle had been rooting for them too. It's like, I understand, like, Baron's like a sociopath and lies and, is just bad for her, but at the same time, it sounded like he kind of really liked her, and I really felt bad. And then it's just like the ending, I just wanted more. Like, it was wrapped up, but not completely. And I love and hate those type of endings because you want to know exactly what happens and that they all live happily ever after. But at the same time, with this type of story, you can't do that. So I love this series. 5 stars for the series all around. Definitely would recommend you reading it if you have not already, and I'm super excited. I should have a review soon for Fangirl. I actually just finished reading that yesterday, so there should be a review for that coming soon, and I cannot wait to start reading The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black because she's she has like a dark kind of cool writing about her, and I just really like it. So pick up the Curse Workers trilogy. The first one is White Cat, the second one is the Red Gloves or something like that, and the last one's Black Heart. So pick them up, read them. I highly recommend them, and I will see you soon for a review on Fangirl. So bye!